Austin, Texas country is KOKE FM. Eric Rains live in our KOKE FM studios here early on a Monday. Proud to have Ross Cooper hanging out with us. How are you, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm so proud to be here. So thank y'all for having me.
Now, I asked you off air, home is Nashville, but you call Lubbock home.
Lubbock's home. I've made it's kind of a macabre joke, but I've always said if I die tomorrow, then don't bury me in Nashville, bury me back home in Lubbock, or just toss me up in the air and let me, blow off with the wind or whatever. But I've been in Nashville. I've always said trying to fight like the good fight, there's, even though we don't always hear like Nashville's very polarizing with music. You either love Nashville or you hate Nashville. And I think there's a lot more overlap these days because more Texans are working there and vice versa. But, I moved there. I said I was going to give it a year, and that's been 11 years, and just trying to, be a better songwriter each day. But the South, Texas is in the South. We're Texas. And Nashville, for whatever reason, I enjoy being there. I'm blessed to be there, but West Texas is home.
You said off the air the ultimate goal is to get,
so this is a twofold. There's kind of the analogy question that pops up that's kind of a career definer a lot in Nashville. It's, would you rather sell out Bridgestone Arena or sell at the Ryman 2 nights in a row? So sell out Bridgestone one night or sell at the Ryman 2 nights in a row. And I've always said my goal is to sell at the Ryman 2 nights in a row because it's more indicative of the type of fan base that you want to foster and build. The Ryman is one of the most special places in the world, but it also, talks more about the style of music. I've always wanted to build my career as an artist, write songs that I truly believe in, that are lyric forward first, that make you feel something. But if I said that I didn't want a top 10, major label, top 40 country cut, I'd be lying. That's a huge goal, but I want it to be something that you can hang your hat on, like a career type of song. Every few years, this huge song ends up getting cut from a songwriter, like we're talking about Humble and Kind. Then somebody like McGraw comes around, cuts the song, and blows up, and
then we all go back and find out more about Lori McKenna.
Totally. So I realized we're talking about an anomaly here, and I figured this industry is so crazy though. I want to have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
It's like as an artist, as a songwriter, you're already like, I'm a 34-year-old dreamer. You might as well dream as big as you can. I want the Opry, I want the Ryman, I want a top 10, top 40 song.
I like it that you went Ryman before Opry though, because if I had to pick bucket list gigs, and I still play and I still have a dream out there that I've wanted, it'd be to play the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah. Well, the Opry would be such a huge honor, but they have to be there. The Opry is going to be packed no matter what, because it is this home base for lifelong country fans. There's older generations that go there that grew up with the Opry. They're going to be there whether you're on the bill or not. The Ryman, they at least, have to pay for the ticket.
It could be a hard ticket.
It's a hard ticket, yeah.
Hanging out with Ross Cooper live in our KOKE FM studios. If you read anything about you in your bio, it's just cowboy. You're a real cowboy. Talk about ranching and doing that part, and that's where you started, and when did the music play into this?
Yeah, so I come from a rodeo family. My dad rode saddle bronc. I rode bareback horses. My brother rode saddle broncs. My mom was Miss Rodeo Texas and was a barrel racer. And so that's what it was growing up. I started riding bucking horses around 12 or 13, and then got on my last one at either 22 or 23. And I was always playing music at the same time. Music was encouraged. My mom is a pianist and is a great music reader. And I had the opportunity to take piano lessons early on, and I took it. And a couple of years after that, I remembered that we had this old nylon string in the garage, and I was like, I want to take guitar lessons. And if not, I don't want to play piano anymore. So it's either guitar lessons or bust, which looking back is so stupid.
Right.
I should have just played.
Once you understand theory, you realize you needed to live on that piano for a while. But as a kid, when mom and dad are...
It's not cool to play piano.
No, it's not.
It's not, cool to play like church songs on the piano while Tom Petty exists.
This is true.
But so I realize, especially being older, a little older now, that how lucky and fortunate I am to have such an awesome and encouraging family, because a lot of musicians and artists didn't or don't. And, even when it was bad and loud and out of tune, I was never made to feel ashamed of trying to get better, So at some point, I can tell you the point. I graduated from Texas A&M. I graduated, and then to class of 11.
Let me ask you, back you up. Lubbock, to Texas A&M.
Well, it's just one of those things.
Well, I guess ranching and rodeo go hand in hand.
I just felt like I was too close to home.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I went to South Plains College for a year.
That's a great school as far as music.
I was on a music scholarship and a rodeo scholarship. And, a lot of my rodeo buddies I was gigging all the time during the week, and then I'd go either gig or rodeo. Well, I was gigging and rodeoing on the weekends, every weekend. But when I was in town, like all the rodeo team, they would go into Lubbock and do basically the things that, if I had an idea or whatever, that I had already done in high school. And there's nothing wrong with that. But after a year of it, I was like, I just kind of want to. I was always naggy, both sides of my family were Texas Tech Red Raiders, but me and my brother both ended up going to A&M.
You the rebel.
Yeah, we were the rebels. But I was always I always knew that I would end up in College Station. And after a year at South Plains, I loved it, but I felt like personally I needed to put a little distance between me and home. And anyway, after I graduated college, there was that decision that you had to make, that I had to make of, okay, school's over, the easy part's done. Like, what are you going to do? You're rodeoing, you're playing music. If you're going to be somewhat successful in either one of these, it's going to require don't do two things and do them halfway. Do one thing all the way. So my brother was living off of actually 360 here in Austin at the same time, and I'd been coming to Austin a lot and loved Austin. But at the same time, I started hearing these records that were coming out of Nashville that I loved, that were not the status quo. They were not top 40 country. It was like some really interesting, really cool records. And I made a visit to Nashville. The first trip was awful. I hated it because my mom and I went. We didn't know anything about the town. So we did nothing but the touristy stuff. And I was like,
you went to Broadway.
We went to Broadway
and heard a bunch of cover songs.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, this is horrible, And then not long after, I started realizing that I knew more people than I thought I did in Nashville at the time. And I was convinced that I'd only seen, a tip of an iceberg. And so I kind of made a quick decision. I was like, I'll stay here for a year. And it's 11 years.
Gut feeling?
It's
turned
crazy.
into your career. Hanging out, if you just tuned in, Ross Cooper live in our KOKE FM studios. You got your guitar in hand. Will you play one for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you going to do?
Well, it depends how many songs you want me to end
I
up
got
playing.
three. I got time for about three.
Okay. So this one's going to come out. It's going to come out next month, and I wrote it about my wife.
That always goes good.
Well, the funny thing about being in Nashville is I wrote this song with a friend and phenomenal writer, Aaron Ratier, and co-writing and Nashville in general. It's just odd when you really kind of zoom out. It's like the song's written about my wife by two different guys. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Well, songbirds on a sunny morning, sneaking kisses without a warning, undercover when it's thunderstorming, and holding on too tight. We'll play the radio and won't even listen. We'll have a dance in a moonlit kitchen. It's our world and it's us living in it, and they can go fly a kite. So let's love like them old days, eye to eye and face to face, and never worry about a heartbreak or ever losing you. Holding on till our dying breath, never looking back on regrets of falling easy in them simpler ways.
Let's love like them old, old, old days. It's knowing that we're never gonna turn loose, 'cause you got me and honey, I got you. When I said I did, I meant that I do, until the end of the line. So let's love like them old days, eye to eye and face to face, and never worry about a heartbreak or ever losing you. Holding on till our dying breath, and never looking back on regrets of falling easy in them simpler ways. Let's love like them old, old, old days. We're good as gold, right as rain. We're perfect in a picture frame. So let's love like them old days, eye to eye, face to face, and never worry about a heartbreak or ever losing you. And holding on till our dying breath, and never looking back on regrets of falling easy in them simpler ways. Let's love like them old days, eye to eye and face to face, and never worry about a heartbreak or ever losing you. Holding on till our dying breath, and never looking back on regrets of falling easy in them simpler ways, simpler ways, simpler, simpler ways. Let's love like them old, old, old days.
Very good, Ross Cooper.
Thank you.
Live in our KOKE FM studios. That's a good song. Did you get some brownie points when you write a song to your wife, for your wife?
She's yes and no. She's over it by now.
She's been there,
her dad
done
is a songwriter too, and
okay.
So she, thank goodness, her response usually is, "I like it," or she's quiet. And it has nothing to do with who the song's written for. She's just she's a great person to bounce songs off of.